So what are the top 3 pieces of advice that I would give to anyone if they were looking to day trade on Betfair? Okay, so before we get started, I just want to say this is quite hard to break down to three things, because there are so many variables to betting markets, people that participate within them, the way orders flow, different sports, so many different things. And breaking it down to 3 is quite hard. However, I'll do my best to hit up the top 3 that I consider of most importance for somebody that's actually looking to succeed in trading quite seriously. So before we do that though, I think it's important to say as well, prepare for the long term. So many people come into this, and I did it myself, thinking that it could be a lot more short term, that they could make a lot of money quite quickly, it would be quite easy, and in most cases everybody's looking for the one thing that's gonna, spin them a whole load of cash overnight. And the reality is, the fastest route to making money on Betfair and trading betting odds, regardless of exchange, is to actually be prepared in the first place, have a structured plan, make it quite formal almost, and just develop a learning structure that is continual and a longer term process that is fully planned out, rather than jumping in feet first, because eventually you'll realise after jumping in feet first that you have to do the planned route anyway if you're going to succeed. So cut the crap now and go straight for the source, if you like, straight for the planned route. So the first thing to say would be become a learning monster, in the sense of absorb everything you possibly can about betting exchanges, how they operate, what you can learn about betting markets, what influences a betting market, what influences the people involved in a betting market, and just the motivation behind the numbers more than anything. The biggest mistake, I think, in all cases, is just to assume that you know something about a certain set of variables. Whilst you may know a fair amount, I think very few people actually know everything. In fact, I don't think anybody does. And so as soon as you start operating from the position of, I know what's happening here, you put the blinkers on, to excuse the pun, and you blindside yourself. You put yourself in a position where you're open to get exploited by others and make mistakes, and that one-track thinking is a very negative thing. So I do it from time to time as well now. I draw myself back to sort of like the starting point and think, hang on, am I looking at this right? Yes, I know X, Y, and Z, but there's more to this, and operating from a position of not knowing is the wisest thing you can do, because only an idiot operates from a position of thinking they know everything. That's what I'm trying to say there. So on from that, the quickest way to learn is to obviously learn from other people's mistakes, and there's enough documentation out there of it, whether it be in paid courses or online articles or on social media, chat groups, dare I say it. Other people's experiences are so much easier to learn from, and it's a lot wiser, because first of all, it costs you nothing, or in most cases it costs you very little in comparison to mistakes within the markets. And secondly, it saves you a whole load of time, and time is the one thing that there is not more of. So I wish I could see it in my younger self. If I was to give some advice back to my younger self, it would be go back and take the shortcut, even if it costs at times, and save yourself that time, because time is invaluable. The second thing that I would say, if you're looking to day trade, would be master yourself. And I'm talking about manual trading here, obviously, because when you understand what motivates you, what is the driving force behind all your trading, or why you want to do this, then it makes it easier for you to make a conscious effort and make the right decisions for your progress as a day trader. Quite honestly, if you're just doing this for money alone, there's a very high chance that you won't succeed. And I think that's very clear from other people, myself. You may have seen things like people at the Matchbook Traders or even the Betfair Pro Traders campaign, and the people that are often successful weren't necessarily just setting out to make money. They liked the evolving problem of trading. They like the fact of understanding what's happening. And, I've even heard it battered around before when I've spoke to other people that are very successful on the exchange, where they're trying to work out what something else is happening, or maybe what someone else has been doing, and they turn around and say something like, hey, I'd even sign a disclaimer to say that I'd make no money from it if I could just understand. And that tells me that, those people are actually sort of like, in love is a bit strong maybe, but they're in love with the game more than necessarily the financial outcome. Obviously, it's great to have that financial outcome and have better things in life, but it shouldn't really be your sole motivator. And if it is, I think you're going to find it a lot harder. On from that, awareness goes into your own emotional reactions. It's something I've banged on and on about in the past, so I won't go on too much now. But at the end of the day, being able to control your own emotions in the moment, stopping yourself from making those foolish mistakes, is the first line of defense. It's the first line of risk management, because if you can't control yourself, quite frankly, nothing else matters. Now, a lot of people are in denial about this. Some people are aware but find it hard to control. Others find it a little bit easier, and typically they're the ones that sort of edge ahead a little bit quicker. But it's absolutely paramount that you find how to control yourself emotionally, and be very aware of how you're feeling within the moment whilst trading. Consistency starts, with yourself at the end of the day. It's almost a state of mind, if you like. And thirdly, are quite actionable things and very important things, is having, the right routine, tools, and habits. In fact, it reminds me of the quote that Warren Buffett said, that went something along the lines of, the chains of habit are often too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be removed. And that's quite a cutting little quote there, but it's so important. Everyone becomes ingrained in their own habits, and so if you can structure and consciously mould your habits around to be beneficial towards day trading, then you've got a far better chance of succeeding over the long term. You've got to remember, habits are consistently compounded day on day, and so if you're making a negative, if you've got a negative habit or a positive one, that's just going to get bigger either way. And so I think it's a good place to start with your routine, habits, daily structure, how you actually behave on the lead up to trading and whilst you are trading. If you're trading at home, you don't need your partner and other people coming in, etc., etc. On the routine side of things, it's just so important because you need to be able to measure progress, quite honestly, in the sense that if you're doing different things every single day, how do you know what's right and what's wrong? How can you measure any kind of consistency or progress? And that goes for results in the market, screen recording, your own personal behaviour, everything. In fact, absolutely everything. Routine is absolutely massive. On top of that, you've got tools. Now, I have come across people recently that aren't really aware that you might need trading software to trade on Betfair, and I think, that's a huge mistake. If you're one of those people that have just come into it and you're interested, I completely understand that. The markets are fast-paced, they are moving, there's a lot of variables. If you're looking at the website where you've got a manual refresh, quite frankly, you've literally got no chance. It's like anything you do in life, whether you're a tradesperson or, you need to have the right tools for the job. They're going to make life so much easier. Like cutting a piece of wood with your hand is, you're going to have a real hard time, but the guy that just turns up with a saw just seamlessly goes through it. So obvious, but you need to have the right tools, and that goes for trading softwares, setups, internet connections, all that kind of jazz. Convenience is probably the most effortless way of actually succeeding. It makes trading far less effortless as a daily thing, particularly when it's day on day. You've got to think about this. Back at the original question there, it's all about day trading. So you're going to be doing this every day. You may as well get set up properly with the right tools, right routine, right habits, making everything positive, and it all just becomes far easier on a day-to-day basis. So I think that's pretty much the main three covered there for me. If you've got anything to add, feel free to let us know in the comments. But I'd be interested to know in what order people would put those three different elements, and what you would consider one being the most important first, second, obviously second, and then thirdly, the least important of those 3 points. But feel free to drop it in the comments below. I will be checking them and responding where I can. So please do drop a comment in.